We're absolutely delighted to be working with our partners to have this really important debate on social mobility and how education and training can help to support upwards social mobility. It's really important at this point in time. We're seeing ever increasing inequality in our society. We're seeing young people feel less certain about the future and feel actually that they will have less opportunity than their parents did. And also in our recent report, Purpose of the Profession, we found that people were concerned about the stigmatisation of professions. And at ACCA, we want to make sure that professions are open to everyone with the education, but also with the technical expertise in which to practice.
My message today is that social mobility is about equality of opportunity. It's not about where you start out in life. It shouldn't determine where you end up. It doesn't matter where you come from, what school you went to, what your parents do for a living. Really, social mobility is about everybody having the opportunity to go as far as their talent and their determination will take them. At PwC, we have a wide-ranging social mobility policy. We're looking to make PwC the most inclusive employer we can, make sure our recruitment practices are as open as they can be, and that people are able to not just get in, but to get on when they're there. Also, we have really long-standing and wide-ranging community programs. We want to help people to be the best that they can be wherever they are across the UK, and that's really important to us. And the final point is advocacy, which is a really important part of why we're here today, because advocacy is about telling the story of social mobility. It's really important that people both within PwC and outside in the wider world know how important it is that people can go as far as they're able to go to, and there should not be any barriers to hold them back.
My main message was that working on social mobility and allowing young people to progress is very important because of social reasons. We cannot left anyone behind. It's important because of economic reasons, because our populations are aging, we need all hands on deck, and because of political reasons as well. You know, we need young people to be motivated and believing in Europe and in their career opportunities. And for that, what we are doing is offering them training opportunities, showing that vocational education and training is a real choice, an equal choice to academic education, and also investing in their soft horizontal skills. So to get a job, you don't only need a career qualification, but you also need to be able to work with the others. And I think what is important for young people, but also throughout the life course for older people, is that people receive guidance, good guidance for what kind of careers out there, what kind of job opportunities, what they can do, what do they have to learn to get that job. So that's very important. And the European Commission is working on guidance, but also on recognition of formal and informal learning.
Well, the main message is that Eurofund's work and also the work of a number of organizations clearly show that the foundation of social mobility in many of the European countries is stalling. And many citizens increasingly see that, unfortunately, their life chances have started much more depend on parental background and the way in which they're born rather than their own efforts to succeed in life. And particularly, it matters definitely for younger men. In many countries, we notice, and Eurofund research shows that it's really the younger generation of men that is really struggling. Another key point, which I think is very important, is the regional dimension, and increasingly the fact that where you live really much depends where you're going to end up in life.
When Nestlé started to implement our youth program, actually we were doing this because of a societal issue, the high youth unemployment in Europe. But we made it really a success, and we were building apprenticeships across Europe because it was also business relevant. So it was good for the youth, it was good for business. And that is really important. And I believe also for social mobility programs, it is very important that it's good for both and that we develop really the best practice. And in this case, we are really focusing on higher education for the time being, because there is where we are feeling there is a benefit for both.
We believe that encouraging social mobility, enabling people to grow out of the circumstances, improve their lives and fulfill their ambitions and dreams, it's the best way to create inclusive, participatory society, especially at the European level, especially at this particular moment when we see so much transformation and so much change due to technology, but also economic and social conditions. It's very important to upskill our fellow Europeans and enable them to pursue meaningful, successful lives?
First of all, I mean, the education is so important, but we really need a paradigm shift in education in terms of our educational system are quite outdated, and we really need to put the learner at the core. Moreover, in order to really ensure social mobility, we need to have recognition of different types of education, so we don't have second-tier education. This, of course, includes being able to have, quality academic education, but also recognition of vocational education and training, making sure that it is not seen as a second-tier education, but actually equal. We need flexible pathways so that whether you study in VET or in academic, you can still access higher education and jobs so ensuring that people have the same kind of opportunities. But we also need recognition of non-formal education as well as the providers of non-formal education. We know that non-formal education provides a lot of important skills, from active citizenship and transversal skills such as communication skills, team building, leadership skills. These are essential, especially in today's job market, where these are actually competences that a lot of employers are looking for.
We should really trust in young people talent, attitude and motivation, and we are responsible to motivate them to choose the right career and the right life, so we have to prepare them for life. We were talking about the social mobility today, and I think that I'm the right example because I grew up in the ex-communist country in Eastern Europe, then I studied in Italy, so I moved very young to Western country, and I set up my company immediately in Italy at 17, so it means that I was very young woman entrepreneur in Italian environment, so I had to really go up with my social mobility and to change all prejudice I was seeing around me. So what is interesting, of course, we were talking about Europe as a big dream, as coming back home, and if you imagine that from the country which was really on the other side of curtain. Now I am a member of the European Parliament, so I think that this makes you understand that motivation and attitude and talent can give you any possibility in life.